Connect the dots for me.
Well, I mean, it has been suggested in a number of publications, including TV Guide, when they called the series one of the 50 greatest television programs ever made, that it was the source for all reality television. But, a number of years later, shows like MTV's The Real World, Big Brother, that kind of thing, began to emerge to give us now what we have as, I guess, a solid genre called reality television, which bears, I must say, little or no resemblance to documentary filmmaking. It's often worked at stage, pre-scripted, cast,
This is Debut Buddies. It's a podcast about firsts. And I don't think we told you last episode, but this is a fortnightly podcast, meaning it comes out every 2 weeks. Unless you really like us and give us a lot of 5-star reviews and make us very popular, and then we might do it every single week. And you know what? After that, maybe every single day.
Yeah, we'll turn it into a morning show.
What?
We'll live stream. We'll get a deal with iHeartRadio.
Yes. Michael Strahan and Kelly Ripa can be on it with us.
Perfect.
They'll talk about the news and then they'll tell us about customer service on the internet.
Is that what they do on those morning shows?
I saw when Jenny and I were going to get coffee like 2 weeks ago, there was a I don't know, like Good Morning America or whatever. They had like a high-tech multi-panel sort of like PowerPoint thing where this woman was walking through like, here's how you should get customer service in this era. You should know that pretty much nobody answers a phone anymore. So get ready to say that you want them to call you at their convenience and then wait around and let that happen. And it's like, wait, shouldn't we be angrier? But this show's not about customer service anger.
Oh, God.
That's unsettling. I do not like that at all.
Actually, you know what? I do have a little bit of customer service anger that I want to talk about. Is that okay?
Let's bring it out. Yeah, now is the time.
You can bleep this out if you want, but I am comfortable shit talking this company because I think that I have everything that I need from them. So I bought a car from Vroom.com last year, and this is like a Carvana situation. Vroom, VR,
like the sound a car makes,
like vroom vroom. Yeah, we're going.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be like so easy. You pick out the car online, you send them the money, they deliver you the car. Bing, bing, boom. You don't have to talk to anybody. Oh boy, that was not the case. So I bought this in July of 2021 and received the car in August of 2021. And that was all great. And I only just got my plates today. It took a full fucking year, and it was so much back and forth. I had to make so many phone calls. I had to do so many emails. And every time I talked to them, they were like, oh yeah, we're on it. We've sent your documentation in. Oh yeah, we're on it. We've sent your documentation in. Until finally, one day, somebody was like, oh, we done lost your documentation. And also all the laws have changed. So we need you to fill out a power of attorney that has to be notarized with a witness. And you mail that in, and like you have to go get all of your like emissions tests and your VIN verification again. And it was such a fucking hassle. And the whole reason I did this was because every time I've tried to buy a car in person, I've dealt with like being hit on, and I was like, ugh, I just don't want to like turn somebody down for dinner or whatever. That would have taken 15 minutes. I would have been uncomfortable for essentially no time. And instead it took a year. So
and meanwhile,
annoyed.
you've been driving around with like the same temp tags that have been expired.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fairness, I've been doing the same thing. Now, granted, only my tags are only 2 months expired, and I texted with the people I bought the car from today, and they were
good.
They say they're gonna get them to you next week, and I was like, okay. Because here's the thing that makes me squiggy about it. It's not just the tags. It's the fact that the title is not in my possession either.
Yeah.
So legally, I don't
Mhm.
own the car yet.
Yeah.
Like I have a temporary title that says, well, in theory, this guy owns this car. But I am not what is it, a lawyer who could say like definitively that my temporary title after a period of time can't be challenged as adequate or accurate. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. They are blaming the local division of motor vehicles for the slowness. They haven't taken anything on themselves as like we done fucked up, but
Well,
I'm glad
in
they at least
7
owned it
months,
for you.
Make sure
That's
to
good.
check back in. Yeah, I guess I still don't have to have the title, so we'll see if that ever arrives.
Vroom, if you want to sponsor the podcast, please tweet at us at Debut Buddies. We'll set you up with an advertising plan.
You'll remember me from
interesting
Twitter.
rates.
That's how I got somebody to actually look into it, was Twitter.
Oh,
Not the
Yeah.
emails, not the phone calls. It
Oh.
was Twitter.
that's
Sometimes you have
disgusting.
to. That is the customer service problem. Sometimes you have to say something inflammatory, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, let me DM us, and we'll figure it out." And it's like, yeah, I tried all of your channels.
The funny part about the tweet I did was like at Vroom, like I have a thread on there complaining about it, and I was like, at Vroom, still don't have this sorted out, and whoever responded was like, Rick, we're so sorry to hear that this is still a trouble, will you please
Rick.
DM us? And I was like, my Twitter handle is Kelly Attaway. I am at Kelly Attaway. The screen name is Kelly Attaway. Who's Rick? Does Rick have the title? I'm so riled up.
Rick designed the auto answer template that the person doing social media uses.
So annoyed. Okay,
Maybe they were
sorry.
talking to Rick from The Walking Dead. He's a very popular Rick of our common era, or Rick from Rick and Morty.
Oh, it was probably him. He's always up to something.
He's a pickle, and he's upset about not having licensure for his automobile.
I relate to it.
This is listeners. This is Debut Buddies. Like I said, it's a podcast about firsts. We talk about the first things in all sorts of stuff. This week, we're talking about the first reality show, or at very least, a PBS documentary from 1973 that was filmed in 1971, titled An American Family, that many people say, this is what started it all, people. This is where reality television came from. We're all buddies here. I'm Nate.
I'm Chelsea.
I'm Kelly. Oh.
Oh.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Chelsea.
I'm still Nate. I don't. Nobody
I'm
else
Nate now,
rotated.
so.
Oh, good. Thank God. I'm Kelly.
No. Oh. Wait, which one am I?
You're me. I mean,
Oh,
you're.
oh,
I
I'm
don't
still
know.
Chelsea. You know what?
We are.
There is no spoon.
buddies.
That's true. I'm Deb.
You're Deb. We're all Debs. We're all Debs here.
Mhm.
This is a fortnightly podcast every 2 weeks. Like I said, make us want it more. Make us hungry. We'll make more episodes for you. Honestly, don't make us hungry. Make us fed. So if you want to just send us money, we'll put our we'll set up a Patreon, or we'll just say our Venmos. I think mine is just at Nate Rigoli. If you want to shoot me some bones, I'll take it.
I don't know what mine is.
Use that little microphone icon.
I don't
That'll
know
be
what
our
it is.
secret way of saying that this was about the show.
Perfect.
So, An American Family was filmed between May 30th and December 31st of 1971. It was presented on public broadcasting. Thank you, PBS. This belongs to us, the tax dollars that we paid to be born, presumably.
Good luck finding it, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I assume is because, like, they probably had contracts with these people that they can't continue it. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know.
Well,
Very
And they-
interesting.
there were multiple releases of different things in regards to An American Family that I can't find either. Like, there was a couple follow-up episodes, and I also couldn't get a hold of those. And it was difficult.
Well, so there is a follow-up. There's a follow-up episode following the death of Lance
Yeah.
Loud, who he is. We'll talk about him, but he dies young of complications from HIV. I think HIV complicated pneumonia or something like that. So this airs in 1973, 12-hour-long episodes. We didn't have access to that, listeners. No one does. Literally, like, unless you maybe go to Estonia, you might be able to rent it on Amazon. I think that's your way out. So Estonian listeners, let us know at Debut Buddies. But yeah, so we watched the anniversary edition, which is a 2-hour-long
Mhm.
film version. of this wonderful early reality TV show.
And my understanding was what we watched was like segments from the original episodes, or did they like recut from the 300 hours of footage that they collected?
I assume they cut down the 12 hours.
I
That's what
figured this was a
assumed
clip
too.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like the best of highlight reel situation.
Because it was kind of hard to follow a narrative in the show. I guess if you watched all 12 episodes, it would make a lot more sense. Maybe I'm a little slow. But it was harder for me to follow a narrative.
Yeah.
Halfway through, I was like, okay, I get it. I'm here. But the first half, I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I cheated a little bit by reading the wiki
That's smart.
like along with it, because I was like, okay, I want to kind of know where we're going with this. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I didn't read anything about it leading into it. And then like 15 minutes in, my note is like, what is happening? Like, why should I care? None of these characters, I don't know their names. Everybody looks the same. Like all three of the boys and one of the girls, identical to me. Cannot tell them apart. Like, I've got Bill, I've got Pat, I've got the dancer.
Lance.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Oh, the dancer.
It wasn't until
The dancer is
much
Delilah.
later. Like I know Lance as a character, like I know that he's the one in New York, but if you like showed me all of the children and you were like point at Lance, I'd be like, ooh.
Lance is probably the only one that I could pick out of all of them.
Once he started wearing lipstick, I could do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
but before that,
yes.
no dice.
There were a couple times when I was like, that's Lance, but that doesn't look like Lance. Like when he's in his band is
That's
when I
not
got
Lance.
confused.
That
Oh
was
my
that
God.
was
It was like Grant?
that was Grant's band.
was
Grant was the one
Okay.
who was in the band.
But Lance was also in a band. Lance was in a
Lance-
band called the Mumps.
Yeah,
And they're cool.
Lance,
But they
Lance
weren't in the
started a
thing at
band in
all?
New York, but I don't think they're in this at all.
Okay, that's where I made myself confused. And I was like, well, I guess that was Lance, but that doesn't make sense because he doesn't look like. Yeah, this was hard to follow.
This is hard to follow.
Yeah. I think it's like it's like a home movie in as much
Yeah.
as if you were there, if you would watch this series in 73, you could watch this 2-hour
Mhm.
thing and be like, oh,
Yeah, but we were just getting, I mean, like you said, clip show. So like
Yeah.
these 2 hours are just like highlights and not a lot of like connections between them.
yeah, there's no linear narrative or any sort of exposition really. It's just like, I mean, there's voiceover exposition by the documentarians, I think, or whoever
I
did
guess
the
so,
VO.
Yeah.
They gave a little bit to be like, oh,
Yeah.
Bill Loud runs a company that makes the parts that go onto things for strip mining. And we all love strip mining, don't we? Because what could go wrong?
Absolutely nothing.
We love it.
So Kelly, what
Yeah.
you wanted to start this off before we get into this?
Yeah. There's like, so you mentioned earlier, people say that this is like the first reality TV show. Now, I also watched the bonus features on this, and like almost all of the creators of it disagree with that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
they were
They're forcefully
disagreeing.
distancing themselves.
I know, but I wondered about that because okay, so to be clear, I do not watch much reality TV show. Like I watched Great British Bake Off, I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, maybe end of list.
And those are
But-
really more game shows than they are reality shows.
So
I would
and that's
argue.
what these filmmakers were saying. They were saying no, reality TV
Oh.
shows are like competitions or like situations that we're putting people into. But that was filmed in 2011, and I was like, well, but
Oh.
what we're watching now sounds exactly like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about like, what do you watch? Do you see the lineage from this original thing to like what is on TV today?
My first note was that this was very Kardashian-esque. Like it's a wealthy-ish family in California in the Valley,
Right.
like
Mhm.
I've watched a lot of that. Jenny loves it. We've watched every single episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We're currently watching Married at First Sight, but I've watched a lot of other
Oh.
things like that, like The Circle, like Love is Blind, which are kind of game shows, I guess, but they're dating shows or
Oh.
whatever.
Yeah.
I used to watch The Real World. I think this feels kind of like 90s era Real World a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I would agree with some of the sentiments they gave it, that those producers gave about like, hey, they sort of alcohol fuel these people and drive them into stuff.
Right.
So
That is true. And I mean, even in this one, they didn't alcohol fuel the participants, but there are some parts where they are like, it is kind of dramatic. It is a clip show, but it is kind of like some parts are pretty dramatic in this that I would have, like, I've seen mirror scenes in recent reality.
Wait,
And when I say
mirror
reality, I
scenes?
mean like real world. What?
What do you mean? What was that?
Like
Mirror scenes?
yeah, mirrored scenes, like ones that, and in the Kardashians, like just somebody complaining about, like, whenever is it Pat complains about Bill and she's just talking about her relationship and how it's not going well. You see that all the time in reality shows nowadays. That's like half of it. Like Real Housewives, I guess, is a big one where they do just talk about that stuff. Laguna Beach, I think, talks a lot about relationship challenges, but a lot of that is staged, and a lot of it is, and that is probably, I did not watch the bonus features, I'm sorry guys, but a lot of that is like nowadays it's staged and pushed by producers, so that's a big thing about it. But there are, like, the realm of reality TV show has become so big. Like when we were talking about, I watch like 90 Day Fiance pretty often, but like the ones that are trying to document things that are happening, those I also think that are cut to be a specific narrative, and people are acting a certain way because they're on camera. So it's not directly in relation to that. And I feel like in this one, people did not, I feel like they acted normal, but I can't tell if they acted normal just because it was old footage. Like, I can't tell if it's just my brain that's like, but if they had a camera on them, were they also putting on a front in the expectation that it would be seen by other people at some point?
So this was for sure talked about in the bonus footage.
I need to go watch that.
I thought it was so interesting for two reasons. So one, they did like an interview with the camera operator and like the sound operator, and they said that their house, because it was like so many kids, was always super hectic, and so when they started filming, it didn't really seem like it was disrupting anything. And so like the vibes of the family stayed pretty consistent. But there is that question of like you know, observation changes the behavior. So how much of that is true? But I thought that one of the producers made a really interesting argument. He was like, sure, maybe it does change it, but I think that it can act as a catalyst. So like maybe we're having conversations that we would otherwise like sit on and never actually talk about, and does that detract from the authenticity?
Oh, that's a good question, because that did happen with Lance pretty frequently, I think, in his conversations, and like kind of what was brought out with him, it seems like it might have been partially brought out from the camera.
Well, there's something to be said for just the stress testing the boundaries of what's there, right? Like if you're kind of holding together, you know, you're holding together a not fulfilling marriage where your husband is evidently like cheating so much that he can't even be bothered to hide it any longer.
Right.
You're probably feeling a little stressed, and this pushes at the margins. I think it's also, there's something to be said for like this is like the first ship that encountered the dodo, you know, like people don't know any better how to react to having the camera crew there, right? Like
that's true.
When you have like just a group of filmmakers doing a thing and they're like, hey, we're just documenting your life, don't worry about it. That's very different than fast forward 50 years, literally 50 fucking years, to a time where it's like, oh, if somebody has a camera in your face, they're trying to get something out of you.
Yeah.
They expect you to stop everything, and you have to sit down and put on different clothing and shoot your reactions, right? Because at no point does like Pat have to say like, oh, in this scene where I said, your father's such a conversationalist, he takes care of the whole thing, I was just trying to say that Bill is a really good speaker, right? There's no like contextualizing of anything. It's just, here it is. What are people saying?
Oh, that's interesting. So you read that. I agree with your point. But I do want to talk about that line that she had. And like, even that, I'm calling it a line. This was just a woman talking to her son. She said this sentence, and it sounds like you interpreted it as pretty benign.
Oh no, I think she was definitely burn. Yeah. No, it was totally a burn. I just think that in the language of reality TV now, there's a good chance that they would have been like, okay, well, we're not ready to do the divorce episode yet, so I'm going to contextualize that like it wasn't a big deal. Like you could
Yeah.
see Kris Jenner saying that and then being like, that's not what I meant. Right.
Yeah.
Because
Okay,
what
I
they're
see
going to
what you
do
mean.
is create a 12 episode narrative arc so that on the last episode, people can get divorced. But it's not
Mhm.
about that, right? Like this is so, I mean, ultimately, I feel like the reason why it's hard to watch is because they didn't try to make it into anything. Like nobody's orchestrating what's going on. It's just like, there's this family and the eldest son moves to New York into the Chelsea Hotel and he's hanging out with heroin addicts and he's growing his hair and he's going out to drag shows and they're fighting about cheese and the middle son wants to be in a band and the younger son's like happy to be a construction guy like his dad, and dad's just always negotiating business deals and calling his kids dude.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a mess of events. I also think there's so much gold in this that the things that people say, it made me wistful for the idea that we as a society used to be so much smarter about the way we expressed things.
I
Yeah.
know.
'Cause,
Right.
like that thing that Pat said.
Pat also says something about waiting. She's like, waiting is just deadly, right?
Oh
Was it
yeah,
that?
waiting is just deadly. Yeah. When after she goes to the drag show, the Jackie Curtis show, she says, part of the time I was bored and part of the time I was amused. And it's just like, it
Right.
feels very,
Yeah.
I don't know, it just,
Honest.
yeah, it just felt like people talking, but not without like an angle, right? Like they didn't
Mhm.
have to have an angle, that they were just being there. I think maybe season 1 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians is like this-ish. But now it's like, oh, I have a really hard life because I'm a multi-billionaire and I have 6 businesses that I started myself. Don't remember anything about anything of context in my life. Now I have to go do a bikini model shoot, and that's the pits.
What a
Yeah.
challenge.
What is the closest comparison to what this would be today? Because if you're looking for family oriented ones, or are you looking for the most realistic ones that feel like somebody's actually trying to document something? And it's not going to be this one, but this is the one that I feel is most realistic to what's happening. But like, I watched the show alone, and that's where the people go out to the middle of the wilderness and they videotape themselves. It does get edited by somebody else later, but it's mostly based on what they want, and it is based on what they want to show and not everything. So that there
But
is
even that
editing
is
with
still
that,
a competition.
yeah, but I feel like that is a competition. You're right. But I'm trying to think of where they allow people to be more realistic in what they're doing. Because I feel like with most things on MTV, or I guess, does MTV do stuff anymore?
I
What
don't
do they
think they
do?
do
What's on
anything.
MTV?
I don't know. As far as I know, they just do marathons of ridiculousness.
Yeah,
Have
that's
been since 2016.
never stop, never end. So I don't know if, yeah, I feel like a majority of television now is kind of a reality show or reality competitions. I know we have like great drama. That's a lie. I love TV. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of comedy outside of
It's
that.
the golden
But
age.
there's
It's the
so
golden
much.
age.
There's so much in reality TV, because that is like, I do watch a ton of competition shows, Ink Masters,
I did
Great
watch
British
Ink
Bake
Master.
Off. Yeah. So there's a lot that has to do with competition and trying to see people in a competition setting and how they exist. But yeah, Kardashians is the only one that's like, this is my day and this is what I'm doing. And I guess YouTube vlogging is now the equivalent of something similar.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's
yeah,
fair. That's
vlogging.
fair.
But
And
even
even-
that
but
is like
yeah.
curated
It's
by
edited,
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Twitch
Yeah.
streamers aren't giving you everything, or if they are, it's
Twitch
on
streamers are,
OnlyFans.
well, I was gonna say Twitch streamers for the most part are, because they're not edited, they're live in what they do. Like, I'm
But
trying to
that's
think.
not like 300 hours of footage over 7 months, you know?
I don't know. Do you watch Hassan Piker's stream? Because he goes 12 hours a day every day. It is
But
absurd.
is he like playing a game? Like, what is he doing?
He's reacting to political content for the most part. Sometimes he goes places and he takes the stream with him, and he will live stream as he's doing stuff. And it does remind me, oh God, this is gonna be weird. Like of the 2020, all of the protests, Black Lives Matter, the amount of streaming and live streaming I watched at that time at the protest was absurd. And I feel like that is similar to this, and that's the closest you can get, is people live streaming actual things that they're doing. Also, at the beginning of the pandemic, when people walked around, when it was like Christmas lights and stuff, I would just sit and watch their live streams and be like, I'm just gonna watch
I just want to live. I just want to live again.
I just want to live. Let me
I just wanna exist.
outside.
This provokes a big question, which is, do we have the capacity as a society, as individuals, to not be on anymore? when we engage, because even right now, like we're engaging with something and we're on to an extent, you know, we're not like farting and eating a hot dog pizza that's disgusting.
I mean, I'll do it for a bit.
At the same time, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know why. Like, how can you do that at once? But like because anybody who's streaming anything, like even if they're streaming about their day, like they're on. There's and I guess what's compelling about this was that nobody really seemed on. Like they seemed. I think there really is something genuine in this stuff. Like when Pat's talking to her sister and brother-in-law about why she wants to get divorced. Oh, brother and sister-in-law?
That was a weird conversation.
It was very weird. They're like sitting out there drinking. She's trying to express why this marriage isn't going to work because they don't have sex. And he runs off and gives all his energy to all these other women on the road. And he doesn't even care to hide it anymore. The sister-in-law is like,
she fully says to her, like, I don't think you know what it means to be unlucky. Like your life is so good. Like, oh my God. Yeah. Like if she was performing, she was like, ooh, I want to be the villain of this documentary.
And I think that that's her genuine thing, that's what she thinks.
Too.
I think that's what she thought. I think that from the start to the finish, everything we see is how these people really are. When Bill gets home and Pat's like, hey, here's a card for a lawyer. We're getting divorced.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, cool. And he just starts putting his tie back on. He's like, well, I'm just going to get some stuff.
He even makes a joke. He makes a joke to Pat, right? So he's coming back from a business trip. So he comes in with his suitcase. And when Pat is like, I think you should move out, he says, oh, I guess I don't even need to unpack my bag. We're just like casual here.
And then he goes and sits down and books a hotel room and then does like a 20-minute business call.
Yeah.
Like nothing is going, like no emotional register for this at all.
Yeah, that was so strange. Though I did read afterward that they had been in that conversation with Pat and brother and sister-in-law, or the other way around, she says that it's like been bad since 1966. It's been years. And I guess that she and Bill had talked about it and they had sort of agreed, like, we're gonna get divorced. We're kind of just waiting for the boys to graduate high school, which wouldn't have been for another year. And so, this was just Pat like pulling the trigger a little early. And
that's what he says in his letter to Lance at the end, right? Like his letter to Lance that is this very long poetic thing that's just
is that where I learned this?
It was
I didn't read about it.
Beautiful. Yeah. I was like, I mean, it's for. Sorry. There's a very loud honk. I apologize. That wasn't me. It was from my mic, but
this is reality.
Me.
This is reality, Chelsea. Everybody honks.
Oh my God, our podcasts, the closest thing
to everybody honks
to an American family.
Oh,
is it podcasts?
Yeah. I mean, it could be. Like we're still trying to do something on the plot, but granted, like our podcast, yes. I mean, I think to the extent that I cut out all of the times that we invoke Satan or
why are you cutting that out?
Well, I don't cut out all the Satan stuff. A lot of that's really charming. Aw. Praise the darkness. But yeah, I think like, you know, we're at least having like a free-flowing, honest conversation about this thing. And I suppose there's value in that. In that someone in 50 years could listen to this, assuming it exists in any form, and they might say, oh, wow, what a charming thing where people talked instead of the AIs just talking to each other. While the people lay in their haptic suits orgasming for hours on end, because that's all people do now in the Wall-E future.
That's like
so I don't have to go to work anymore?
Yeah, that sounds great.
A robot does that for you.
All right, well.
Like, if you want to matrix me and treat me like a battery, but like I just get to come all day, that sounds fine.
Yeah, I mean, worse ways to go. Way worse ways to go. But yeah, in that letter, Bill relates the marriage to the Rock of Gibraltar.
She has been my Rock of Gibraltar, both as a snug harbor of security and also as a perilous navigation hazard for 20 years.
And that's the sort of thing that, like, I think part of what was enjoyable about this for me is the language is so elevated generally.
Yeah.
Like, people seem critically aware of their existences in a way that most of the reality TVs that I've watched, people do not. Like,
Mhm.
it is few and far between that a character is able to articulate themselves enough to be like, I'm really upset because I'm under a lot of pressure due to the following few things, but much like Sisyphus, I am part of a perennial grind that in which I have no stake. Like, nobody says that shit. They're just like, boo-hoo, my Spanx broke. And that's the whole plot.
That's how I felt
No,
this
like
morning.
I even have trouble accessing stuff like that in therapy. Like I am in therapy to figure things out. And like my emotional words are like bad, sad, mad. Like I'm never
So-
gonna pull Rock of Gibraltar out of my brain.
Yeah, what was the culture? Oh, was it? I was gonna say, what was the cultural shift that made us go this way? But was it specific to this family that we're giving more? Because I don't think it's a generalized culture thing. Because I feel like it's for, like, I don't know. My parents, my grandparents wouldn't speak anything like that at all. And I think it might be regional or might be educated.
They own horses. They have multiple cars. When Bill goes to leave, he's like, do you have a car free that I can use to leave the house? And she's like, yes, take the
Take
Jaguar.
the Porsche? Oh,
I
Jaguar.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And he goes
Jag, yeah.
out and there's like 5 or 6 cars. Like, they're living large in this situation. So these people, these are rich California people.
But when I hear the Kardashians, do I think that they sound poetic when they speak?
No.
No.
But I think that they might be audience aware. I wonder what people actually talk like when they don't think they're talking to their
That's
demo.
interesting. Because what do you think that they might speak it do you think that they, I don't want to say dumb themselves down for their audience, but do you think that they try to simplify who they are to bring out this like persona that might not be accurate?
I wouldn't put I would totally believe that Kris Jenner paid for everybody to get trained to become more mimetic in the way that they behave.
100%.
You need to talk like, we want to incorporate 15% street, and we need
Jeez, you're right.
18% 20-something lingo, and you need to know what dip means.
They've got a dialogue coach for the Zoomers.
Yeah.
Is Pete Davidson the dialogue coach for the Zoomers? Is he the one who taught them how to be young and hip?
That's why Kanye's mad, because he's the voice of a generation.
It's just not the new one.
Gen Z.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I am educated and my friends are educated, and this is not how we talk.
Should we start talking this way? Should we bring on this movement?
I don't think that I have the capacity to. Me dumb.
Yeah, definitely.
You're not dumb.
Well, also, if you like simplify things, isn't that also intelligent?
Yes.
I don't know. Pretty language is pretty though, so I'm not against that either.
We can be more florid when we want to, but we can also, bring the regular old human talk. It's a feast. It's a feast for the senses. And speaking of feasts for the senses, it's time for the Mouth Guard Report.
The Mouth Guard Report. Open wide.
How's everybody's mouths doing this week?
Pretty good. Jaw hasn't locked up. Jaw hasn't locked up for like a couple months. I have been very happy.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is Cheeky doing his job?
I'm still using my old retainer because the other one is on the wrong teeth. So, I mean, Cheeky is doing its job. If you guys have a recommendation for a more reliable print than Cheeky, because it is 3D printed, I think, if they have more reliable print on the thickness and the teeth, I would like that, because their customer service does not help me out as much as I would. Oh, I'll go to Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tweet at us.
Twitter.
Tweet at us at Debut Buddies, listeners, if you know a better mouth guard than Cheeky.
Yeah.
Cheeky, speak up. Now's your time to shine.
Yeah. You could really rise to the top of the mouth
They keep asking for my review, and I'm like, you guys,
don't
you got to be
want it.
consistent before you get it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you out. I'm not
Yeah, it's
putting
like
it
you
in
don't
yet.
want my review right now.
Exactly. You make me happy, and then I'll review you.
Yeah, just send me a correct teeth. Send me correct teeth.
What do we think? What do we think mouth guards were like in 1971/73?
Oh, big.
Oh yeah, did people? Did they just grind their teeth? They didn't. They had people still have teeth. Do they? People have dentures now.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
sports had mouth guards, right?
That's true.
Yeah, I guess you just wear like a football mouth guard, or you'd
think
have like
so.
headgear, like the whole thing with the rack and the bars and
Oh.
everything, and that would be your retainer mouth
Yeah,
guard,
what
and
did
you
they
could
do
only
for,
sleep on
like-
your back.
Electroshock therapy. Did they just put like a leather strap in your mouth?
Yeah, don't they put like a
Oh,
bit?
maybe
They
that.
put like a
That's
bit in
fun.
there, right?
Maybe you just have like a little thing you tie at night, so then you chew
Oh
it.
yeah, maybe it's like a whole tie situation.
Wait, why don't we bring that back? I should Google that. We should
The
figure out if
70s was
that's
a
like
ball gag era
Yeah,
for
it was just very sexy.
yeah.
Let me put on my nightgown. It's a gimp suit.
Oh, so now you're writing an American Horror Story episode and or season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's get Evan Peters on set.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah. They don't call him Peters because his wiener's small.
I'm excited about him being Jeffrey Dahmer.
Ooh, hey, that could be good actually.
I'm
I am excited
interested.
about that. Kelly, how's your mouth? How's it going?
I fucked up, and
Uh-oh.
we're gonna see how crooked these babies are. So I've been out of town for a week, and before that, I had a friend in town. And here's the thing about going to Sonoma on a wine tasting girls trip is you're just drunk for 4 days straight. So I didn't wear it.
So you'd say that your mouth guard routine went sideways?
Oh wow, that's
Like the movie about the
Boy,
people that
no,
go on
I-
a wine trip. Yeah.
I was with you. Yeah.
okay,
They talk
good.
flowery in that one. Doesn't Paul Giamatti do that whole like he's talking about a wine, but you're like, we get it, you're the cab, like whatever.
Yeah.
Remember that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, it went fully sideways. I just didn't unpack it. And so my teeth are going to be very crooked. And also my jaw for sure hurts because I've been hella clinching.
Oh no.
Oh boy, I fucked up. How's your mouth guard, Nate?
Hey, everything's fine here. I got nothing to
excellent.
report.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I did
positive. I
have
love
a
it.
night where does this ever happen where you wake up in the middle of the night and you somehow spit it out?
Oh, fully
No.
never.
Okay. Okay.
I did wake up once and my nose ring was just gone.
Oh,
Like
Wow.
I pulled out a nose ring in the middle of my sleep. It never did turn up. I don't know where that baby went. I assumed every time I vacuumed, I would hear that like ka-thunk, ka-thunk of it like being sucked up. Never happened. I don't know. I think
I mean,
swallowed
they
it. I
say
must have swallowed
that
it.
the average person swallows 15 nose rings a year.
Yeah, they just crawl in there. They're attracted.
Yeah. Yeah. They like the cavernous of the
that's why you
mouth.
put like a
It's 7 spiders and 15 nose rings. Those are the stats. Yeah.
at the same time. This is it the spider like grabbing the nose ring and then taking it down, being like, all right, now that I've taken my sacrifice.
My
Yeah,
precious.
he puts
That's
it on each of his little legs. It's
so
jewelry.
cute.
Aw, yeah. And he's voiced by Hugh Grant.
Oh, charming.
Aw.
Yeah. I mean, just because, 7 spiders and 15 nose rings sounds like a 90s Hugh Grant movie.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
It's
And he's
Notting
just
Hill
like,
all
oh,
over again.
I'm nervous about going to the spider dance. I don't have any nose rings. That was the mouth guard report.
The Mouth Guard Report. Open wide.
Okay, so let's go through this thing kind of in order.
Yeah.
I'll just sort of survey my notes a little bit, and everybody just jump in, cut me off. So I got the vibe immediately that Bill Loud is a real dog because they're having like a
Yeah.
garden party,
Yeah.
and he is just schmoozing with all the ladies while Pat's sitting in a lawn chair way outside of frame. And he's just
Yeah.
like, hey, you're looking pretty good today, blah. in his. He has a John Wayne voice. Like that's
Oh
his.
my God, you're
Yeah,
right.
he does.
Like that's his deal. Is he's just doing John Wayne the whole time. But my immediate thing was like the 70s seem kind of fun. Like
Yeah.
I was sort of on board
I
with.
really
oh,
wanted
hey,
that cocktail that they had. I was like, oh, that'd be nice. That
Yeah.
looks refreshing.
You got cocktails, you got less climate change, you got no phones
we
and
love that.
screens. People are just sitting with each other. They're smoking as if it's not going to kill them. They're drinking.
They're wearing blue tinted glasses inside all the time.
Then we jump to New York, where Lance is living in the
Mhm.
Chelsea Hotel, which Chelsea Hotel is pretty notoriously like a like flop house situation, expensive to live in, but lots of people doing a lot of things.
Is it a flop house? Was
Well,
it floppy?
that's probably unfair. It's not really a flop house.
Was it floppy?
There were like hella drugs there. This is
Yeah.
where like
Famous people would go there all the
Sid-
time.
Sid Vicious's gal died.
Nancy?
Yeah,
That
Spongin.
sounds-
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And like a bunch of authors were there, and like
A lot of Andy
wrote-
Warhol there.
Oh, Warhol was there. That tracks.
Mhm.
That tracks. Yeah.
So
Chelsea
it's so
Girl?
it's a bohemian center is really what it
Mhm.
is. It's not a flop house. It's a bohemian beacon of light.
There is a lot of heroin though.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he makes
For
a
sure.
heroin joke. He's like, "Oh yeah, well, mom, your bedroom was just occupied by a heroin addict," and it's like very off the cuff.
Plants.
But then he also says one of yet another one of these great lines.
New York, just think, 70 million keepers of the flame.
I don't think I understood that.
I think
Is
he's just
this
talking
the
about like
torch? The Lady of Liberty?
I don't know, maybe yeah, just people keeping freedom. We're all yes. Let's all
the
raise our
torches.
torches.
Everyone, for this visual that no one will ever see.
Oh right. We all lifted our hands.
We all held the torch.
I did
Uh-huh.
just learn that the Denver airport, I live in the Denver area, is twice the size of Manhattan.
Whoa.
Isn't that
Wow.
nuts?
With its underground secret government mole
Yeah.
people tunnels and everything.
Yeah. New World Order, etc.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't visit Kelly enough. So like I spend all my time going from Denver to another state.
Yeah.
sorry.
It's really
I'm
that's
sorry.
a problem. You got to visit Kelly more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
visit Kelly
okay.
more.
Deal.
Go to visitkellymore.com for all of your Kelly visiting needs.
For all your mouth guards.
But then they go to Jackie Curtis, which is like an epic like drag play that really looked kind of interesting.
It looked
I was
so
Yeah,
fun.
fun.
I wish we could have spent a little more time in it because I was like, well, this is like a compelling turn.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Something wild is happening.
I wanted
that's-
more from that. That looked so fun.
That's where Pat says part of the time I was bored, part of the time I was amused. She's
She
just like-
also calls it gross. She does
yeah,
call it
she does
gross.
call it gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like the New York sequence kind of gave me the feeling that it felt like very little had changed. People were still there's still this burgeoning scene. There was still
Yeah.
sort of this not like she seemed like a progressive-ish mom in that she wasn't like actively offended by anything. She wasn't going to go to a MAGA rally about this later. She was just like,
No.
oh, this is different and I don't really understand it, but whatever.
You seem happy. She
Yeah.
kept saying you seem
So
happy.
supportive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's super supportive of him. And
she
he
was
effectively
fully,
comes
like-
out to her.
Mhm. Apparently, he was the first like person to come out on TV.
Yeah.
So
huge.
like that was crazy. This was huge for this show. But yeah, she was so sweet. She kept saying like, I just can't imagine a better place for you.
Yeah.
And but
Which
even
is
in
also
that-
weird because that is like a not the drag show, but him being in that hotel and obviously kind of doing drugs. Like they allude to it pretty often. He looks really pale. He looks super pale. Are you sure he's not sick? Is what she says later on.
But
And I'm
she
like,
she
yeah.
also like follows it up. She's just like, New York is the best place for you. You got to
Yeah.
get out of the Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a
She
mom
yeah.
about it. She's like, somebody needs to come do
Stay
your
here, go
laundry.
somewhere
Your
else."
house is a mess. You have to move out of the Chelsea. But I'm so happy you're here.
hmm
Oh, she's sweet.
And she does end up describing him later whenever she's talking to Bill, and she's like, he was skipping and he just seemed so happy. Like
Yeah,
it
he
just
was
made
like
me,
dancing and singing in the street.
it was just so nice to hear them talk about her talk about him in such a positive manner, and like a parent just really reveling in the happiness of her child was just kind of a beautiful thing too.
I love my son. I'm confused by some of this, but that doesn't make me love you any less. Oh, look, there's a guy in the fountain in Central Park who's climbing down on top of the Little Mermaid.
I was worried about him. I was worried.
Or Alice in Wonderland. Yeah. Somebody gives them a tarot reading. I don't remember how the tarot reading
It was
went.
Paul Dano. Paul Dano gives them the tarot reading.
Sorry.
Nice.
Did you not remember what happened in the tarot?
I should have written it down.
Okay. So he basically like predicts the divorce.
Yeah.
So at the start of this documentary,
That's
it
right.
fully is like they gonna get divorced. Like that spoils it right at the top. But then in this tarot reading, which is like early in the recording of the document of the reality TV, I don't know what to call it, of the TV series, he is like flipping over cards and he's like, there's going to be a big decision for you upcoming and it's going to be very hard, and I don't even think that you realize how big of a decision this is. And it's going to be financial. And she was like, oh, does it have to do with Bill's business? And he was like, he's not coming up in the cards. I don't know if it has to do with business or what, but like I was like, oh, we got magic in this.
Mhm.
I was very excited.
Because it also is interesting that sets up that there is problems with Bill's business later in this.
Oh yeah.
Which this sort of calls into question, like, this 2-hour long movie has definitely been curated to show something.
Right.
And to give us leading things that the 12, like I really wish, like, granted, the 12 hours probably would have been kind of difficult because it's sort of difficult to track what's going on in the shortened version, but it would have been interesting as an artifact to really see what this was.
If I could find it, I think I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was an interest. Like, now I've grown really attached to a lot of the not characters, people. And I did do like a ton of reading on what happened to them because I was so interested. I was like, where did everyone end up? Did Grant end up getting a job? Like, that was where my mind was. I was like, his dad is such a bitch to him. Like,
oh
ugh.
man. Yeah. Well, and after Pat comes back from New York, she's having a conversation with Bill where they're just talking about how lazy the boys are because Grant just sits around and plays his guitar all day. And Kevin doesn't do anything at all, even though I think Kevin's like still in high school. Like these are they're still children. And there's like this momentary parenting divide where it seems like they're starting to kind of butt heads because she's like she's being a mom about it. She's a little bit more like, hey, look, they're young, they're figuring their stuff out, and he's like, they need to be men already because I'm John Wayne.
Yeah, he was very classic, like Don Draper style patriarchy, you know?
Yeah, hardcore he was the patriarchy.
Yeah, big time.
And then we have this section where they're spraying each other with something, some kind of white foam.
Like a foam?
This.
Yeah, and then somebody says fireball and starts spraying it. And I was going to ask both of you if you understood what it was that they were spraying each other with.
I assumed it was like shaving cream, and it just felt
like
very 70s. Did
those like canisters get invented in like 1970?
Oh, like aerosol cans didn't
like
exist.
Whippets. You know what it made me think of was like whippets in the like restaurant, like freezer in the back, where you like get your whipped cream out and it's dead because people have just been like frying their brains on the stuff in the back room.
I thought it would be like isn't there like a part in Dazed and Confused where that's part of the hazing, or am I just thinking of something else? I just like
maybe
I don't know if it was just how they looked, and it was like a bunch of pictures I had seen before of like my family members, and I was like, yeah, this looks like something that would happen. This looks exactly like something that would happen. Maybe they were cleaning off their desks, you know, in school when you clean off your desk at the end of the year. With some weird foam.
My god, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
it was probably shaving cream like clean stuff off. Yeah,
they were just cleaning desks.
Well, what was weird is he was like,
or his legs
coating. Yeah, he was coating like all of his clothes with it.
He was like rubbing it in, and he was like, "Oh my god, you got it in my hair." So it wasn't hair mousse. So
he said like, "This is wild stuff, man," and I was like, "What do you mean?
What is it?"
It's sugar and dairy. What do you mean? Like, I don't know what it is.
Huh.
I'm
Oh.
glad everybody had the same confusion about
Yeah.
that because one, I was
No
like, why
idea.
is this here? Why out of the 300 hours of footage did you cut this in? Because I don't understand what this is telling me about anything other than that I guess the siblings play.
That the kids
Oh,
are like
yeah.
kids? Like, I don't know.
But like I never like I guess I was a clean kid because I never would have been like, oh man, I can't wait to cover myself in a substance while fully
Oh.
dressed.
No, I'm not doing that. Never
I'm-
was doing that.
As a child, I was the complete opposite of who I am now. I talk about this a lot with Ryan because I was like, I am a very, I don't want to say a very clean person, but I'm afraid to touch anything that might have germs now. But
You
I
are
would
currently in a hermetic chamber.
yeah,
the
for sure.
listener.
Yeah, you see this bubble that I'm in.
Yeah.
But the like when I
Ryan's
was a
tapping on
child,
the
I would
glass.
just go. He's here to give me my supplements. Anyway. So when I was a kid, I used to just like hang out in mud puddles. Like that was my main thing. And now thinking about that, I was like, there could have been glass in there. There could have been nails. And like in my brain, I have no idea how, and I used to hang out at construction sites all the time.
Oh, I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how have I become so much of a different person now than I was as a child? Because I was all up like if someone had given me a can of something that sprayed something, I would have done exactly what that guy did. That's where my brain would
Oh.
have gone. Like I would have done that. There was a time when I found this is a
Here we go.
interesting memory.
Yes.
I found like a lipstick under my bed. I don't think it was mine. And I was like, what is this? And then I would just like, I had a friend over for like a sleepover or something. And then I just put it all over my face. And I was like, this is just what needed to be done right now. I was a weird kid and I am aware of that now. I would not do that today. I have learned to be, I don't know, control those weird impulses to do weird shit like that. But I feel like I can understand where he was coming from, covering himself in shaving cream. I get it. I feel it.
Are you going to do that once you age out of respectability? Because we all will. Eventually, we're just pooping ourselves.
So when I become an old lady,
Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna go back to that?
For sure.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm gonna have my own, like, I don't know. I might have to have like a mud puddle that I have a little bit of control over, where I'm like, I have to make sure that it has to be sifted. Through,
No, this is clean
thing.
dirt.
That's the dream. Yeah, it's refilled with store-bought dirt every 5 weeks.
Perfect. Yeah.
We've spent all this time with like Lance and Pat and Bill and kind of looking at Grant and Kevin, but like I have a note here that there's just not a lot on the daughters because it seems like there's not a lot on the daughters in any of this really, which is kind of a bummer.
I'm glad that you
Yeah,
said that because I thought my brain had erased what they did because I was like, are they important? What are their names? And I could not remember at the end of it. And I was like, is this my fault? Was I distracted? Did I not pay attention?
No,
All we got was the one weird dance recital.
We got the one weird dance recital. And what was her name? I just have her down as Big Dude.
That is Delilah.
Delilah. And then
Mhm.
Michelle is the other one.
Michelle is like not in this at
She's
all.
not in it. She is the one squirting the whipped cream or shaving cream.
Oh,
But in that scene, I was like, I cannot tell if this is a son or a daughter. They all have the same haircut and coloring. Like I cannot.
And
I
the
cannot
fidelity
tell
on
them
this video on
apart.
this film is not great. It's
No.
not like
No,
it's
it's
not
1971.
1080p or anything. So
16 millimeter film. They
and
use.
everybody looks like they're in the Black Crows, so it's hard to tell people apart.
It's-
Like
yes. Like, I cannot. That one kid rolls in with like a fake mustache on it.
I was about to say that kid with the mustache. I was like, now
Keep
I can
it.
tell you apart.
So there's this weird dance recital that is like dancing has changed a lot in 50 years. I will say that.
Yeah, this was not impressive dancing. You know what stood out to me in that scene though is the lighting guy was on top of it. Like
Yes.
like
The
it
spot was
wasn't-
on the spot.
The spot was on the spot. It was not like appropriate dance lighting. There should have been like side lightings. You don't light dancers from the front. This is crazy. But the spot like got his mark every time. And I was like, okay, all right, okay. More of this, I guess.
So at that point, Pat's going on a 1 month long vacation. And I wrote down 1 month vacation, exclamation question, exclamation question. It's like, who gets to do that?
I would love to.
Just
Yeah.
go to Taos or Santa Fe for a month.
Can you help me with where everybody was at this? So, Pat and big dude, I've already forgotten.
Delilah. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Michele and one of their friends go
Mhm.
with Pat.
They all
And
go
then
to Santa Fe.
They go to Santa Fe or Taos, yeah. And
One of-
then
yeah.
and then Bill goes to Hawaii alone or with the boys.
I think Bill goes
I thought he went
alone.
alone.
I thought he went alone too. Where were the boys?
Just chilling.
Grant
Were
was
they-
still just noodling around in the basement with his guitar,
Yeah.
and
did
Kevin
not leave
probably
these
was
kids
doing
alone.
whatever, and Lance was in New York.
Well, yeah, Lance was in New York, but the other two, I don't know where they were. Because right, Delilah comes home early, and
Yeah.
she's not allowed to stay at home. I assume
there's nobody
She
there.
was there alone. Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
did we send the boys to boarding school for the summer? Like, I don't understand.
Maybe that's the same time.
Mm.
Kevin is off on the business trip to Japan
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
good point.
with what's his dude,
dude, I do not know.
and Grant's pouring concrete parking lots, I guess.
Yeah, I guess maybe he was like at like a work site. I I don't know. But that was funny when Delilah comes home and she's like, "Where is my dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't find him. I can't get a hold of him on the phone. Oh, he be fucking."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not washing those shirt collars.
No, sure isn't.
While they're in Santa Fe, the ladies have a conversation around the dinner table about how California is going to fall into the ocean, and how do you feel about living there?
I was like, what? Is this filmed yesterday?
It's
Right?
gonna.
We'll talk about it.
It's gonna. They looked super distraught though, and they like lingered on their upset faces.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But yeah, that's when Delilah said that the whole thing was instant death, so that's why she had to leave. She's like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
instant death. So then she's hanging out with her boyfriend who's like making a catamaran. He's building a boat.
And is like maybe gonna leave. Like
And he's
maybe
yeah, and he's I wrote down toxic boat boyfriend.
toxic boat boyfriend. Do your boat or don't. Like I don't know what to tell you. But she does not get like he's like, "Oh, if I stay, I'll do this with the boat, and if I leave, I'll do this with the boat." And she's
Mm.
like, "Oh, maybe you should stay." And he's like, "Well, that's up to you." And she like does not realize that he's being toxic and
Yeah.
manipulative. She like comes over with a little smile, like I think expecting him to like kiss her like playfully, and that doesn't happen, so she just walks away again. And I was like, this is weird.
Right.
I don't like this.
I hope that boat killed him, honestly. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Fell on him
Yeah.
like Lucifer at the Denver
Yeah, like
airport, just
Lucifer.
bring it back around.
Then Bill has a phone call about how his business is getting difficult because of organized labor. Hey, labor unions.
Yeah.
And this was such a funny conversation too. Like the person on the phone is clearly going, "No, they're on strike." And he's like, "Well, but somebody told me they'd have it done yesterday." And they're like, "But it's a strike. That means they're not doing it." And he's like, fine, I see, but why isn't it done?" Bill, I'm not sure that you do see.
Bill, I think you hear the words.
Like, I don't know how to make this more clear. It's not getting done, my dude.
He doesn't keep referring to like his. Is it in this? He's like, I have $100,000 on the line. He keeps
Yeah.
saying $100,000.
Yeah,
Pretty
he's got
consistently.
all this merchandise sitting in the port or something that's not getting unloaded off of boats or loaded into boats or loaded onto something.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's
And
just
he always gives a numerical, like the dollar value of what's happening, just to
Well,
give
he's
you
a
more vibes about
businessman.
Bill.
He's having supply chain issues.
We all
50
get
Aren't
years
we
ago.
all?
We all get it.
And then someone says, I wrote down, I like the scotch and soda situation. What was that about?
The situation.
Maybe they just said like have a
guys,
scotch and soda. I think there was just like people were getting scotch and sodas, and I was like, this is great.
I like
This is
that.
the
We
70s.
I
love
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
But on that same note, there's a scene, I guess it's maybe after he learns about the divorce, but he's having like a business meeting at a restaurant, and a gal comes over and like pours him like a normal 5-ounce pour of wine, and then he says, no, fill it up, I've got to drive back to Santa Barbara.
I do remember that. I was
Fill it
like,
up to the
oh my
brim.
god. But then I had to Google. I was like, that's illegal in this. That's illegal then, right? And yeah, it was illegal at the time to.
But I like get it.
Yeah.
No, fill it up. I've got places I gotta go.
Then there's a fire. There's fires in
There's a
California, everyone.
fire. Yeah,
It's brush
surprise.
fire season in California. And I have a note here that's like, oh, there was brush fires then? Is climate change fake?
Shh. Don't
No,
you
no.
dare.
I'm joking. Because the next thing I wrote down is that Delilah's recounting. I'm going to have a little clip here on this too.
All I saw was big pink smoke. You would know, and it was at least 90 here last night. It was so hot. And the wind, blew over the umbrella over there. All the chairs were all flying around. And so, we got up here, and me and John were trying to find the water valves and stuff to get the sprinklers going. But Michelle, when she was up here with her girlfriend alone, and they were, just getting in bed and stuff, and I heard the fire engines, and I looked up in the sky, and it was red up here, and I thought, maybe Michelle lit a cigarette or something. The house was on fire.
Delilah's talking about her defending the house from the fire
Yeah.
and how she hosed down the fences and everything. And she's like, it was really hot. It was at least 90 degrees.
I know.
What?
I know.
What?
Which,
Whoa,
okay.
What a beautiful world.
It could be, now one, we can say like kids maybe don't know what temperatures are. That could be a thing. Maybe it was warmer than that.
Maybe.
But I also like to think that 90 probably was really hot in 1971.
Mm.
It's normally only 80 during the summer in California, and it was
Yeah.
10 degrees warmer, and there was a fire.
I was just there and it was over 100 like all week. I was
Yeah.
dying.
It's never going to be nice again. It's over.
Yeah.
It's
No,
over,
yeah,
guys.
this is the coolest summer of our lives.
Yeah.
Of the rest of our lives.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
I was gonna
right.
say there were cooler ones
Yeah,
previously.
yeah.
but
Sorry.
now we're-
I
it's all
got
downhill.
I
From
got
here.
excited about the end of the sentence. I forgot to say the middle. That's my bad.
Then there's a fire. She defends it. It's great. You'll hear in the clip. Then we jump over to Lance, who's going on a trip to Paris. He and his roommate
wait.
maybe.
I want to talk more about the fire.
Oh
just
yeah,
a
let's talk
little
about the
bit.
fire.
So the reason I want to bring it up is because where was Bill? Bill wasn't home because he was off having an affair.
Oh
So
yeah.
Delilah rolls up, Lil Miss 16, and she's like, I don't know where any of the like water
Sprinklers
spouts
are?
are
Yeah.
outside. And like this little 16-year-old is describing how she defended the house from flames.
With maybe
She's
the
like-
help from like the
Her,
gardener or
Oh, I thought it was her
groundskeeper or something.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or maybe the
Oh.
boyfriend. Maybe boat boyfriend saved the house.
I think it might have been boat boyfriend.
Oh, geez.
Somebody was there
Mm.
helping. And yeah, they were just like the fire was, what did they say? They said it was like
Encroaching?
50 feet from the
It
house.
was close.
Yeah.
So
they were
she's
they were
just like-
hosing down the fences
They
around
were
the house.
hosing down the fence. Like, that's crazy. That's insane. And like, Bill, you really should have not been having an affair right now, leaving your 16, like not to do like a patriarchy thing, like you're the man of the house, you have to protect the house. But like, it is nuts to think of like your 16-year-old kid defending
Having
the
to
house
do it.
from a huge fire. And this was like the one moment of like real connection I thought we saw between these two. Like,
Mm.
it's clear that they have like a playful,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
she's a what do you call it when the daughter, a daddy's girl?
Daddy's girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Oh. It's clear that like that's the case, but he like says, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, a little bit of like validation from Bill.
Mhm.
This is nuts. Sorry. Okay. That's
Oh,
all I
yeah.
had.
Well, and he's also like he's laughing as she tells this story about
Yeah,
like
it's like
defending
funny.
their entire
Like
property.
we almost just lost
And he's like,
everything.
oh yeah, really? You really did that. That's pretty special.
That's bonkers. Like,
Yeah.
what a close call. And that's like true throughout this. Like there are a couple pretty emotional scenes and people just like laugh and nobody
Yeah.
like talks about it
Processes.
as though it's serious.
So now we're jumping to Lance and his roommate / maybe boyfriend. I don't know. Maybe they're just doing a thing.
I'm not
I
sure.
sort of read into it.
Yeah, I read a little bit. So that guy, Christian, I think was his name,
Mhm.
goes on to be in The Mumps with Lance.
Oh.
Okay,
And
great.
And I think that I read that they were like high school friends. So
Oh,
I
okay.
think just buddies.
Cool.
but they also, when we first met him, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's easily like 20 years older. Like, what's going on here? So
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought that whenever we met him, it seemed like the mom came up at a time when she wasn't supposed to come up to the room.
There's a little bit of like casual.
Like he's tucking his shirt back in at some point. Lance is tucking his shirt back in.
Oh, no, but like Christian takes a phone call from her when she's like landing and is like keeping it secret from Lance.
Oh, maybe
Lance was like,
maybe
who's
that's
on
why.
the phone? And he's like, haha, it's a secret. You'll find out.
Don't tuck your
Aw.
shirt in.
Don't tuck your shirt in, weird.
We want to make good TV.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I'm not
I mean,
sure.
two things can be true. I've
That's true.
slept with
Yeah.
my friends.
I mean, look, if they did stuff, great. If they didn't do stuff,
Yeah.
great.
Great.
There's no
Yeah.
judgment. There's no stakes
Cheers.
here.
Mhm.
They're hanging out in Paris at like a beautiful like rooftop cafe thing, and they have this wonderful conversation about how stupid money is.
It is
Oh,
stupid.
yeah.
I agree.
Money wouldn't be a thing unless everybody agreed it's a thing. It's stupid that we
Mhm.
have to have it to do
Mhm.
stuff. We're limited in how much we can do. Now, granted, they got to Paris somehow, and they're going to get back somehow.
Yeah, what were flights like? Oh, but it was like there was an artist, somebody who paid for their plane tickets.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
They were being sent on behalf of like a theater troupe sort of thing.
Yeah, uh-huh.
It was like an
Yeah.
art teacher that was a patron
Something
of
like
the arts
that.
or
Yeah.
something. He had to explain it to his mother. Is it her father? Someone?
His
He explained
dad.
it to
His
someone.
dad was like, "Who's paying for
Who's
these
paying for it?"
plane tickets, partner?"
They have a big conflict about Grant and what Grant's doing. They're giving Grant shit about wanting to play music. He's just like,
Yeah.
"Hey man, I don't know. I'm like 17 maybe, and
Yeah.
I'm around our pool. Why are you yelling at me?"
That was a terrible conversation. And like Pat backing him up when she was so supportive before made me kind of sad. Yeah, it was. And he was like, I know what I want to do and I want to do stuff. It's just you guys are going to make me do something different. Yeah, and it's a weird position that Grant's in because he's right in between Lance and Kevin is obviously the favorite to take over for his father. And then Lance is off getting like his parents are paying for him to live and do these things. They don't love that he's doing them, but they are helping fund him going off and pursuing his passions. Then you have Grant, and he is trying to figure it out, but it feels like he doesn't fit in either of those molds. And I felt really, Grant was the one who I was so interested in what he ended up doing and what his life was like after, I mean, obviously Lance, I wanted to know what happened with him, but I've just felt like with all the pressure Grant was getting, what ended up becoming of him. Did he end up getting famous in a band? The answer is no, he didn't.
No.
Yeah. Grant's a real Jan, right?
Yeah.
Brady Bunch
Jan.
parlance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marsha.
Lance.
Lance.
Kevin's that stupid Bobby that goes on to be an architect just like your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, stop, Bobby.
So then there's the divorce. There's the divorce talk.
Divorce.
We get the voiceover. She goes to file the paperwork while Bill is on yet another dalliance
Yeah,
because the man just travels to fuck and try to
Yeah.
collect this $100,000 that he claims is in port.
It's
I don't
out
know that
there.
there's any money at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seems like a pretty good cover. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars are you spending trying to collect this money that you say is out there?
Right.
I mean, come on.
Like, what are you doing?
She reveals all this cheating stuff.
Well, if we had any sex life, that would be kind of nice, but it's kind of like a courtesy. Thank you, ma'am. Thing. And I am too young for that. I'm too old for a woman's lib, but I'm a little young for that. And he just kind of tears off, and he makes everything a lot more obvious now. Like the lipstick and powder and glunk on his shirts and things like that. And he always leaves some little thing that is turned into a game, Yvonne, is what's happened.
And it was also like, okay, two things. There was a part where she was talking about how bad things were a few years ago and how like actually they're better now, but I still fully want a divorce. And she was describing depression. She was describing depression, but she was like, I should have been committed. I should have been committed. And I was like, is that an option? Because I'm also depressed. Can I be committed? Like, can we do that? That's a joke, but like that was very just a sign of the times.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you were sad about your horrible marriage, and your thoughts are like, oh, I should be locked up for that.
Something's wrong with me for not being happy.
Something's wrong with me. Like, why can't I just figure it out? And then the other thing is like about this sister and or sister-in-law, she was like rolling her eyes the whole time Pat is telling her this story. And oh man, I just personally feel like if your friend or sister-in-law is super sad, even if they are like doing it themselves, even if they are like fucking up their lives, and you can like point to the choices, not that that is what Pat is doing, but like you've got to be there and be supportive during that moment.
Oh yeah.
You know, you've got to be like, we're going to get through this. I'm here for you, etc. And then later when things are better, you can be like, let's review some of those choices. But you can't do it like in that moment, especially when they just told you I was hella depressed. Like, you can't.
Well, and especially when like
crazy.
It was unique and affecting how difficult it is for Pat to speak any of this. Like the scene, she's not speaking in like coherent, clear sentences about like, this is the way that I feel because of the following 5 reasons. She's kind of jumping around. She's having a hard time expressing this because it's clearly a heavy thing for her to express. And she's getting eyes rolled at her. And she's probably feeling the pressure of the camera. I don't know. Like there's a lot going on where it's really astounding to not have empathy in that circumstance.
Like, this is such a raw moment. And this is one of 2 scenes in this 2-hour clip show that we saw where she seems frazzled. And even in this scene, it's not like she's not crying. She's not like shaking. She's not yelling. She's not swearing. She's not bad mouthing him. Like, she is very clearly trying to get her emotions across. And yes, it's in like fragmented sentences as she's like trying to put her emotions into words. But I feel like she still had so much composure.
Yeah.
She didn't, again, like to compare it to like Kardashians or any other reality show, like there would have been screaming, there would have been crying, there would have been getting up and stomping off into another room where the camera would have had to follow. There would have been some sort of explanation. There would have been lots of bleeping. Like, this is very controlled and very like
controlled,
measured, you know? Yeah,
that was wild to watch.
So the lady who sucks, his name is Yvonne. I wrote down this sister Yvonne sucks.
Yeah, she wasn't good. I didn't like her.
You wrote down the right thing.
Then Bill comes home.
Yeah.
He's back, and boy howdy, here's the papers. You've been served. They have a brief conversation. I think he tells her that it's short-sighted to get a divorce.
He does say that, yeah.
Which is like, I just started like, were I feeling like drinking, I would have just started taking a drink every time he said something that was like, you're completely detached from this in any emotional way, because boom, it's short-sighted. Then
he responded so cavalierly to that I was like, wait, did I misunderstand what was happening?
Yeah.
I thought that she was telling him they're divorcing, and he's like, okay, just gotta make a quick phone call.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad that I responded the same, because
hold on.
Like, this is very I expected more.
He sits, he makes a very casual, flirty call to a hotel where he's like, oh, well, hey, what do you got in the room? If you want to send that thing, like, you basically feel like he's saying, hey, if you want to come up to my room later, I will be there.
Right.
and then there's that really long hang up and wait for the phone to disconnect because it's a landline. He hangs the phone up and he waits like a full 10 count before picking the phone up again, and then he just makes a business call.
Although I did interpret that hesitation between phone calls differently. I thought that was like maybe a moment of
Emotion?
like reflection and emotion, and he was like holding it tightly, and we just saw him like tapping his fingers on the phone. But you think that it was just like waiting for the line to disconnect?
I was remembering how like you had to wait, because if you picked the phone up again, you would still be connected to the person you were there.
Yeah.
So you had to wait for the line to clear to get a dial tone again. And that's what I thought he was doing, was he was just like, he's just a phone user. He's not an emotional person.
That was the one thing that made me have empathy for him. No, there were two things. There was a scene later with Lance where they're like talking about it, and he's like tearing a piece of paper, like a receipt or like a straw wrapper or something. And I was like, oh, maybe we're seeing it through these fidgets, but yeah, maybe not.
But no, maybe it is. Maybe the phone person is the phone person today, like, because people scroll and they look at their phones to disassociate from emotion. Maybe him calling people and talking about work was his disassociation from the hurt that was happening at the moment.
He's major dissociator.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm just not going to deal with these. I'm gonna put them away.
John Wayne doesn't have feelings.
No
feelings. No feelings.
So then all the cars, you can tell that like Pat is sad. Like this is we cut to the next day, and she's like laying in the beach chair by the pool, curled like half fetal position,
which is similar to what she described earlier when she talked about her being depressed. Because she said she would lay out by the pool and she would just sleep all the time. Yeah,
so she's like, she doesn't feel immediately better, whereas he's like doing a bachelor kitchen restock with no shirt on, and he's just like talking about all like, here's this thing I got, and he's just drinking like a 6-pack of Coors Light while he wanders around.
Okay, so I had a question about that scene where he's shirtless. Were we supposed to think he was hot?
Maybe at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe he's got OG dad bod. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was like, okay, who was hot in the 70s? Like it was.
We're thinking Clint Eastwood's. We're thinking Steve McQueen. Yeah, guys who are probably 20 years younger than him.
I was thinking like Robert Plant, Jimi Hendrix, and they're clearly hotter. Redford. Okay.
Newman.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. He was just like shirtless and clearly very tan. Like he was like a guy who's shirtless outside a lot. And I was like, okay, all right. Am I supposed to what am I supposed to be feeling?
I mean, I think we all probably felt something when Grant is out doing the concrete pouring, and there's the one guy who's running like the concrete pour job who's shirtless.
No, I
he's
didn't.
Wearing white jeans.
I missed this entirely.
Dude was cut like Brad Pitt in Snatch. Like he's just like cum gutters and everything. He was just like hanging out. Gutter. He's just pouring concrete out of the wheelbarrow, kicking it. Like I was like, oh, see, this is the like these lines of work have their benefits.
Okay,
you're wielding large masses of wet dirt all the time, and you're gonna look good for it.
I don't think Bill does that. Bill has not poured the concrete in a while, and it's a little obvious.
Yeah, Bill's got the desk job. He's got a little bit of desk job syndrome. Then we cut to an amazing pep rally that Grant is playing.
So this was great. This was great.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's Grant's band playing at the pep rally, and you've got like a gorilla and a weird clown and all sorts of strange costume things popping out of I don't know what.
I don't know. There's even a guy who like pops out. There's like a stage that's been built, and he just like flops out and is like drinking a bottle of wine or something.
Was it a music video? Were they making the music video?
I mean, they would have been around. Yeah, there would have been music video at that time. So maybe that's what it was. Is they were trying to do a thing.
Because it was very theatrical. Like he's like wearing.
I thought it was really fun.
Like tights and like a red Speedo over the black tights. And the Speedo was like baggy. I didn't like that. And then
You're
he
not
rides
picking
off
up any time that way.
on the back of a motorcycle. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was insane.
This
It
was
was
like
so
a fever
crazy.
dream. Like, am I on acid? What
Yeah.
happened?
And as far as the film is concerned, it's almost to announce that Lance is coming back.
Mhm.
That you get
Yep.
that you get basically this like cabaret moment, and then boom, Lance is back in
And then Lance
town,
is here.
and he's showing off his Hawaiian shirts that he bought.
We love it. We love it.
And he says Hawaiian shirts are good because people can look at them if they're bored.
Yeah, he's like, you can be as boring as you want.
Yeah.
At least people have something to
Look
look at.
Then he's doing makeup with Delilah, which is a really like it's a charming scene.
And it's so cute.
Yeah.
This was so funny to me for a couple reasons. And not like funny haha, like funny, sweet, and relatable. So he and Michele are like trying to one up each other with how fancy their nail polish is. Like they both have this like vampy red nail polish, and he's like, well, mine was 69 cents, and she's like, well, mine was 68 cents on sale from 250. And they're just like trying to beat out like whose is cooler, and he's like, well, I got mine in New York, so try to beat that. And when he and Delilah are putting makeup on, he's talking about how gaudy eyeshadow is these days while she's like laying on blue eyeshadow.
Mhm.
And he's like, I just think it should be subtle. And then he like puts it all under his eyes, and he's like, there, now I look dead.
I love Lance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lance is the best.
He was
Lance
so
was
great.
so funny. Yeah.
I did end up watching a couple interviews with him afterwards,
Ooh.
and he's just he is a complete delight in all
He's
of the interviews.
charismatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we get this letter from Bill to Lance. Lance is wearing like a cap sleeve baby doll t-shirt and
Yeah.
white shorts and riding his bike, and we just hear Bill read his letter over top of that.
It's
as
a
Lance is
long
having like
letter.
a sing-songy,
Yeah.
very like bouncy bike ride
All downhill.
all
It's
downhill.
this weird
Mhm.
juxtaposition of him like having like this beautiful sunny day, and then his dad's like sad emotional letter.
It's kind of like his dad's letter is like a retrospective letter. It's
It's
like
retrospective.
I enjoyed the part where you said that this time marks the return of Lance and the fall of the
Mhm.
father. Like
Yeah.
he's able to make jokes. He talks about how like he wants. I think the sweetest thing that he said in the letter was, "I hope that you will think of me as a father friend and not just like a grim dispenser of money
Mhm.
who-
Yeah.
who was punitive," which I was like, well, I mean, so there's love in there. Like he wants to be
Yeah.
cared about and he wants to care back, but he's very clearly holding himself back because it's like the language exists and he'll dance all the way around it. Like
Yeah.
it's like a really good letter. I kind of should have cut the whole thing, but it's so long.
It's
It would have
long.
been,
It's
like,
long.
it would have been
Yeah.
like a
Super
3.5 minute clip. But
If we can find it online, we should link it. But that was one of the most beautiful parts of the entire 2
Mhm.
hours.
Yeah.
I loved that part. It made me like it felt like the character arc for Bill. Like I felt like he had a redemption with that letter.
Huh. Okay.
Oh,
so
did
what,
you not feel positive? about
not
that? I like.
entirely. No, I did
Mm.
think that the letter was good, and I liked that. I liked that he had that like. I thought it was going to be lunch, but I guess they just like met for a second with Lance because
yeah, maybe in
earlier
Bill's
the-
office.
Oh, was it Bill's office?
Or I don't know,
know.
wherever the crane screens were, whether that was
Yeah.
in the house still or he took them and moved them. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where it was. But okay, so earlier in this 2 hours, we established back when Pat said that shady comment about Bill being a conversationalist and you can just let it
Mm.
happen. It was like Lance was expressing to her like, I haven't been able to have a conversation with my dad in
Yeah.
years, presumably because of his queerness. Like that seemed like a big point of contention. And so I did like that Bill like took the time to write this letter that did seem like he was being reflective and genuine. I hesitated, and I'll get to that in a second. I did like that he like had this this meeting with Lance, like talking very frankly about the divorce and like, let's make sure that we stay in touch. But there was something at the end of this documentary, and now I didn't take good enough notes to know what it was. I don't know if it was in the letter or he has like Bill has a conversation with a friend, and maybe it was that, but there was something in this that led me to believe that Bill was like ready to just check out. He was like, I'm going to start a new family, and like I was never like, this was never my dream.
Oh.
And so like I walked away thinking like, oh, Bill is just like cutting ties,
Oh.
and he's just going to be like so that friend dad comment to me was like, let's minimize dad and
Right.
like
I
maximize
see.
friend.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
we can get a drink if we're in town, but I
Yeah.
like don't want to be like a daily part of your life is the vibe that I got.
I mean, that follows directly to him talking with the lawyer about how to pay for things, and he's like, no,
That's right. Yeah.
they don't need $10 a month for clothing.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
he's ready to just say everybody's requests are outrageous, and he even says they're not entitled to keep the lifestyle that they're used to,
Yeah.
which is
That's a good
actually
point.
usually what the divorce decree is like,
Yeah.
we've become used to a certain lifestyle, so Mr. Cheater, you have to provide that.
Yeah, Mr. Cheater.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think
he,
it was like it was nice because it was a friendly conversation, but I think
friendly.
you're right. There is something that's like congenial but not familial about it.
Yeah. It was very like, look me up if ever you're in town. Don't write.
Yeah.
And he has that conversation with his friend. And I just want to, I think it was a little earlier, but it was so funny to me because he's like at lunch with his coworker or friend, and his coworker is like, well, you know, you can't like live the life we're not in our 20s anymore. We're like grown up. And the friend asks like, do you think you'll marry Pat off? Do you have any prospects?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that how alimony works? Like if they get remarried, you don't have to pay anymore? Because Bill
That's
was like,
exactly what I
oh,
thought.
she's not going to have a problem. Like she's hot. She's fun.
Yeah.
Like she's going to find somebody instantly. And then it was like a smash cut. Like it felt very modern. It was like immediately cut to Pat being like, I don't think I'll remarry.
Yeah.
What?
Fuck you, Bill.
Well, because Bill and the friend have a conversation here at the same time about how things just aren't the way they used to be.
Right. Yeah. They're like
there's a whole lot of like, you know, family and marriage isn't what it was when we were kids.
right.
And then that's the problem, is that people don't get how things work.
Yeah, 60s were like a
Used to work.
huge transitional period, and I think that 70s
Yeah.
are like starting to reckon with that, and so this is a weird time to be getting a divorce. I was going to say as a man, but I guess as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he's ultimately like, we find out that pretty much everything works out for everybody for the most part. I mean, other than poor Lance dies at 50, but he gets to be in a cool band and play CBGB and a bunch of venues.
I know.
And basically like they all become pseudo celebrities, which leads to debate about whether or not this was a documentary or some sort of shilling, which is
Or
just
something new.
hilarious given what we know to be
Right.
the case later.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, things are so different now.
And then we find out that they get back together too.
Yeah.
After
And
Lance
that
dies.
was like, yeah, that was Lance's dying wish. He just wanted them to get back together, and so it said they moved back in together. Did they remarry or no?
I don't think they remarried. I think they just got back together.
Yeah,
I
let's not bring
didn't read
paperwork
about them
into it.
remarrying.
Let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not
But
write it down.
there was like a part, I don't know if it was something that was mentioned in the one that happened, the one that was released after Lance died at the end.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be like part of it's supposed to be on like it's shot on his deathbed in hospice, and then it like clips back to when he was younger. But it talks about how he was kind of sad because the family was very loving and everyone loved each other, but the show didn't display that, how he didn't think it was accurate to how everyone felt about everyone.
Oh,
So that's yeah, so I was reading that and I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. And I was like, that is what reality ends up doing though, is like sometimes those sweet moments you're not gonna go out of your way to watch or something. I mean, like those were the moments that I loved so much about this, but a Great British Bake Off is just lovely.
It's just
moments.
love. Yeah.
we love
It's
that
just
one.
lovely moments. And I think that we're getting into a time when that's warranted and people want it and they want to see more of that. But yeah, at that time, I think they edited out all the sweet, like they left in the shaving cream part to show their sweet little moments that I feel like they were like, this is dramatic, sweet little moment.
It's
But-
also tough
huh.
when it's just like a couple months in your life. Like
Yeah.
not like everybody has periods where like if you filmed
Oh,
anybody's
yeah, God.
relationship or living situation for a couple of months and then said this is how it always is, it'd be like, no, it's not.
That's
That
not-
was like
No.
one of the worst times.
That's like a chapter. That's a snapshot.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. This is just like a little ribbon of time. It's not the whole story.
Yeah.
It can't be.
Yeah, this was wild.
It's time to play the game that everyone loves to hear, but no one loves to be in.
Yeah.
What game is that?
It's I see what you did there. So today we have a shortened version where I only have 2 questions. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll take the
Yay!
hit here.
Yeah, you do it,
Okay.
Nate.
I think I owe you both.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So this show is about 2 best friends where one employs the other and had an episode getting their house exercised. And this show is where you can have Jillian Michaels call you worthless for free while you exercise.
Ooh.
I forgot to take notes again. Okay.
I can repeat it if needed.
I would love for you to repeat it.
I know the
Okay,
second
2
part.
friends.
Give me the first part again. 2
Okay.
friends.
This show is about 2 best friends where one employs the other and had an episode about getting their house exercised. And this show is where you could have Jillian Michaels call you worthless for free while you exercise. Kelly,
I just don't know. I don't think I know the first part. I know The Biggest Loser.
Do you want do you want hints? Not tips. Both.
I mean,
I would
I'll
love-
take a hint.
Yeah.
Give me a
Alright.
hint and a tip.
One of the best friends Kelly actually alluded to earlier in the episode. But I don't know if you're gonna get it. I won't give another hint afterwards. if
What
you guys haven't
references
gotten
have I
Kelly, give me a
made?
hint about who you alluded to earlier.
I don't know. I just say stuff. I don't listen.
It's not Ghost Hunters, because that's like that the exercising would make sense, but that's not what it's about.
Is it it's a fiction show? With the
No,
2
these are
friends?
all reality shows. I'm
These
doing
are
all reality
shows.
Okay,
That makes
okay.
sense. You're on theme. Yeah,
Mhm,
no, that was a dumb
mhm.
question on my part. That
They're
was-
best friends. One of the friends hires the other friend.
He employs him.
Oh, okay. A friend employs their other friend, and then they get their house exercised.
Mhm. It's not the main theme of the show. It just happens in one of the
in
episodes.
one episode.
Okay.
Was this
Mhm.
Love After Lockup?
Oh my god, no.
I don't remember what else I referenced.
Nate, do you have an answer? Do you have any idea?
I have nothing but Biggest Loser. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you got 1 point.
I'm trying to like use that as a jumping off point.
Hmm.
What did I?
I can give another hint.
Yeah, hit us with it.
One of them skateboards.
One of them Oh, ridiculousness.
You're so
Loser?
close.
Ridiculous user.
You're close. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. Okay.
I don't actually know
Have we
anything
given
about
up?
ridiculousness. Yeah, no. Nate, can you do it now that you know?
Is it the ridiculousness loser?
No.
That's what I said.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, what is it?
Robin Biggest Loser.
Oh,
So Robin Big
oh.
was the show where it was him and his bodyguard, and they just went around and did hijinks all day.
Yeah, no, I was never gonna get there. Okay.
Yeah, Big was his bodyguard / best friend.
Aw,
Okay.
they had like a 70s style title card too.
Yeah.
Robin Big.
Oh, I love
Hey,
that.
look, it's us. It's Robin Big. We're gonna
Which
do some
one is
stuff.
Rob?
He's the bigger one, ironically.
Oh, good.
No, I don't know.
But Rob is the host of Ridiculousness. Rob Dyrdek.
Oh,
It's his show.
Ah.
yeah. I don't know anything about it.
I see what
except
you
that
did
it's
there.
On MTV all the time.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I do.
Good,
I
I'm
do
glad.
too. I do too. I do too.
And the shoe is entirely on the other foot. So I'm sitting here just like dripping.
yeah, it
You're
sucks
like,
over
"Yeah,
here,
I-
right?
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to be on this
It's
side
a
of the
lot
fence.
better on this side. I like
Yeah.
it a lot more. It's really exciting. I see why you like this.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's great
You
to
see
wield
what he
knowledge
did
that
there.
other people don't
Yeah.
have.
All right, Kelly, are you ready for yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna tippity tap notes this time.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. This show has a different Michaels that wants you to accept his thorns. And this other show where Jessica keeps telling you she's 34 while staring at a frosted light up panel of glass.
Okay, wait. Say that second part again. Jessica keeps telling you she's 34.
While staring into a frosted light up pane of glass. I had panel. Pane. Same thing, right? Pane. panel.
I see what you did there. I know this one.
Boo! Boo! I already told you I don't want reality TV. A different Michaels tells you to accept his thorns. SNL isn't reality TV, is it? All I can think is more Michaels, a different Michaels. The craft store. The to accept thorns. I tried the other one.
What does everything have a thorn?
I mean,
Everyone
Rose.
has its thorn.
You know what? That was the #1 song on the charts the day I was born.
Whoa!
Every rose has its thorn. Should I keep going?
Every night has its
Has its
dawn.
We
We didn't have enough off
Just
scene in
like
this one.
every cowboy sings a sad song. John Wayne.
Who's this cowboy?
Bring it back. There's a cowboy with a rose cowboy with thorns. I don't know, dude. I do not know. I don't have anything.
Okay.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Let's pass it back over to Nate.
Here's where my brain is.
Oh,
Rose
okay.
cowboy. I'm like, got it. Dark Tower, Stephen King. That's in the wrong direction.
Left field.
Mhm.
That's in the
Yeah.
wrong
Mhm.
direction.
Roland Shane.
I don't know.
I think, Chelsea, what you did there was Rock of Love is Blind.
That's it.
Okay,
So-
walk me through it.
Rock of Love is a dating show that Bret Michaels of
Who's Brett
Poison?
Michaels? Oh, he's
Poison.
Poison.
who
Oh,
sang Every Rose
He
Has
did
Its
sing
Thorn.
Every Rose Has Its Thorn, right? Did I
And
make
he
that up? That
hosts
is
this?
Poison.
He hosts this?
No, it's his. It's like Flavor of Love. It was the one that came after Flavor of Love. It was.
I don't know
Yeah.
Flavor of Love.
Okay, well, that's your problem.
No, but like, what's okay?
Yeah. So it's a dating show where he's getting himself dates, which is like
Yeah.
that was the beautiful part of reality TV where like over the hill guys were like, hey, I want to do The Bachelor, but I'm the Bachelor.
How many
Mhm.
seasons has this been going?
Like, 3? At the end of
Aw.
the first one, they're supposed to that's supposed to be their soulmate, but it keeps going.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then Love
the
is
second
Blind is
part?
a
Love is
Netflix.
Blind.
So that's a
Mhm.
Netflix dating show where people are just like put into cubbies and they talk to a wall, and you're supposed to decide if you want to marry someone based on their voice and the conversations you have. And then once you commit to getting married, you come out and see each other for the first time. And then they basically just go like, oh, you guys are completely incompatible or whatever. And Jessica was someone who like totally liked this dude. Well, she liked another dude, I think, more
Yeah, she liked
initially.
multiple dudes. Yeah.
But
Oh,
she
she's just a horn
accepted
dog.
the proposal of a guy
Oh.
and then spent the whole time after that talking about how she was older than him and therefore they could never work. And he was doing everything in his power to prove that he was like devoted and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
She was just like, I'm too old.
Oh.
Yep. She kept talking about it. And
Yep.
yeah, it was absurd. But yeah,
Oh.
I'm so glad you knew all the
I see what you did there.
Oh, yay!
I'm so glad we got to do it.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you did it because I forgot. And then we were literally like, after Mouthguard report, I was like, oh, I totally didn't
shit.
do that part of the show.
I didn't forget. So we this is how we complete each other. Kelly, next week you got it.
It's
No,
perfect.
my brain does not work that way.
But you have to wield the power of this. Like,
Okay,
come
mine
up
is
with
gonna be
whatever
like-
you want. You can at least be the one who's sitting there going like, you don't know what I'm doing.
I'm gonna be like, the leg bone is connected to the knee bone.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm,
wasn't
mhm.
gonna get that one right.
I don't know if those are even the words. I don't know how to do this.
It depends which direction you go with the song, I think, right? Like, is the leg bone connected to the hip bone or is it connected to the knee bone?
This is a question.
Look,
for
we're not
scientists.
We'll find out
Doctors.
next week. Tune in next week to find out what the leg bone connects to.
I think it's just floating. I think it's just floating in there.
Let's talk about how many debs this gets.
Okay. I feel perplexed because I don't watch very much reality TV shows, so I don't know like how to rank it. Like, is it Great British Bake Off? No.
No.
Is it RuPaul's? Absolutely not. but like, is it better than The Circle? I don't even know what that is. I don't know what The Circle is. I don't know. Like,
The
I
Circle's
know-
great.
That one's kind of nice.
They
Yeah.
I
play a
know
social
little bit
media
about Love After
game.
Lockup,
Okay.
but only from listening to other podcasts where they mention it in passing. Like, I just don't know
Okay.
very much about it. Can I just rank it on my time, like how I experienced it?
Yeah, I think that's fair. We don't have to
forgot our
compare
depth
it to
scale.
the body of reality TV. Necessarily, not in our
So
deb
all
ratings.
reality? Oh, I'm not gonna put it against all reality TV.
Yeah, no.
Well, you guys go first because I don't know.
I'm gonna be boring. I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 debs again, just like that first podcast. And on our deb scale, 4 out of 5 debs means it was debonair.
Debonair.
And I think this really is. This is like, it was interesting the whole time. I thought that it was at times difficult to follow, but I was down with this family. I wanted to see what was going on, and it really it felt like a window into their world in a very earnest and sincere kind of way. There were definitely documentary, because of the movie version that we watched, there were definitely documentary frames and elements and VO and stuff that changed it.
Mhm.
But I think this was largely successful, and I completely understand why it was a big deal at the time. And I really don't understand why it's not something that's just sort of ubiquitous so that everybody can experience it. Because I think if everybody had to watch this in school, if this was like a intro to reality TV college course where you watch this and then you're like, okay, now look at what all the iterations that come off of this thing.
Mhm.
This is where somebody starts the top spinning, and it pretty much spins evenly the whole time with a little bit of wobbling. And now we have a time where it's like a fucking spirograph, and that shit's just going all over the place.
What do you think, Chelsea?
I was gonna say mine is probably for the 2-hour movie that we watched is, I would say, a 3. So debatable.
Okay.
Okay.
But if I had watched the entire series, I feel like I would have given it a 4, because it was just like kind of jarring not being able to follow the narrative sometimes. So that's why I would give that specific one a 3. But in general, probably a 4. Its existence, a 4.
Yeah, I think that I feel similarly. Like, I do think that if I watched the 12 hours, and I want to, that I would probably be in a 4 based on what I've seen here. You know what? I'm gonna go 3.5. 3.5 debs.
All right.
Because like the first I don't know, quarter of these 2 hours, I was like, ugh, I don't care. Like these are just vignettes of people that I can't recognize. I don't know what their names are. I don't like, I don't know. 70s TV was different. I don't know how to parse what's happening. And so it really wasn't until Pat got back from New York that I was like, oh, okay. Like now I'm settling into, I don't want to say the plot, but the plot. So yeah, it like took a minute to settle in, and maybe that says more about me than it does about it. Yeah, I'm going with 3.5 Debs.
And mathematically, that makes it a 3.5 Debs experience. So it's a little above debatable.
It's boy, it is really hard to like concatenate words when they all start with Deb.
It's true. It's
Debonatable.
Debonatable.
Debate an air.
What are we going to do for the next episode of this? What do we want to do next?
Oh boy, that's a great question. Can we
can decide later.
Yeah, could we come back
Yeah,
tomorrow?
we're doing a bad. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. We're going to surprise you. I'll post about it in the groups and on the channels. I'll let you know what we're doing for our next episode, so you have a chance to do it too.
Yeah.
Unlike these, unlike the last 2 times where you could listen to the podcast, and I hope that you did. We all do. But you couldn't.
Yeah, we
you couldn't have
definitely do.
watched this unless you have a local video store that has an American Family Anniversary Edition on digital
if you're
video
in the
disc.
Seattle area, pop on by Scarecrow Video. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Scarecrow Video.
Yeah, you can rent this bad boy.
Just don't bring your crows; they'll be scared.
No crows. Yeah,
That's true. Very true.
Plug some stuff. What do you got?
Kelly and I have a podcast
The
called
Kneebone.
Never Show the Monster. I don't know what episode we'll be on. I don't even know if we have an idea of what that episode will be yet. But if you like horror movies and you like listening to us, we also have Nate on pretty periodically. So
This show is good shit. I have a lot of
Yay,
fun. I'm going to reiterate the text that I sent both of you with based on Happy Death Day to you.
oh god.
Anybody pregnant in a time loop for the length of the movie Groundhog Day is giving birth to a fully grown man or
No.
woman.
Or
They're
woman.
giving birth to a adult.
Yeah, I feel like that makes it more, because we talked about Happy Death Day 2 being more of a sci-fi movie. That definitely makes it a horror movie.
Yeah,
that
this
would
brings
make it
back to
horror. Full
This
on
is like
horror.
Chest Burster,
Cronenberg.
but worse.
Oh god.
Yeah, we just released Happy Death Day 2, and our next episode is just going to be like a shoot in the shit episode, but I think that this will come out after that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the theme will be that we're doing, but
Maybe it'll be the
fun.
Cornetto trilogy that you
We're
told me that we
fun.
could do.
We got to figure out scheduling for
Yeah,
that.
we're trying to
Yeah,
figure out
we'll
scheduling.
look. I'm just this is gonna be my joke that I keep running into the ground.
No,
until
we want to
eventually,
do it. We just got to figure out
in 20
scheduling.
years we'll do it. No. Listen to their shows. Listen to that show. It's a good show. It's
Yay.
so much fun. It's so much fun to listen to and to be on. If you can be on it, guys, come on.
Yeah, dude.
Listen to 13th Depository too when you guys get back to that.
Yeah, that's my Wheel of Time podcast that I co-host with a friend of mine, and we are currently reading The Great Hunt, which is the second book in the series. We are in a little bit of a hiatus right now due to some family situations, but we will be back soon, and we'll be talking about that Dragon Reborn. Can't wait.
Bringing him out.
Bringing him out.
Rebirthing that dragon.
Oh, he's out. He done been reborn at this point.
Someone's been in a time loop for 40 years.
No spoilers.
When they come
he's
out,
20.
there's a dragon inside.
Oh.
You can't toast your bathtub your way out of this dragon.
Oh
No.
gosh.
If you like our theme song, listeners, please find Michael J. O'Connor at michaeljoconnor.bandcamp.com. He is awesome, and he's got a new record coming out with all sorts of new stuff. He's been dropping it on his social media lately. It will be out by the time this episode airs, so go find it, listen to it, enjoy it. It'll be on the Spotify too. It'll be on the YouTube. It'll be on all the internet pipes that you're so fond of smoking. And if you want to buy some science fiction books, check out Spaceboy Books. Read spaceboy.com. And as far as this show is concerned, please subscribe and rate and review us. If you could like just review bomb us right now.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
I know there's a lot of people who listen to my show and hopefully some people who've listened to Kelly and Chelsea shows that are coming into this. Like, just throw a bunch of 5-star reviews at us. Get us kicked into that, like, maybe top 25 on the Apple podcast charts, even for just a day.
Yeah.
And we might ascend to taste that sweet, sweet ambrosia that we've been hearing about.
Oh, can you imagine? Actually, isn't ambrosia like the recipe gross? Anyway, I know what you mean.
Oh yeah,
salad.
ambrosia salad's like those tiny
Marshmallows?
marshmallows in Jello, I think, right?
Oh,
I think that's right. Yeah. Gross.
Yeah.
But give us the real stuff.
Yeah,
Ambrosia, gods, etc.
yeah. Give us the real stuff. And yeah, just 5 stars, and you can write whatever you want in the bottom. You can write poop. You can
Butthole
write,
cut, right? Butthole cut. Give us the
butthole
butthole cut.
Yeah.
Please release the butthole cut.
5 stars.
But we just need those. So find Debut Buddies on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on whatever thing that you listen to that aggregates reviews. Do it. Do the thing. Do it now.
Do it. And follow us on Twitter at Debut Buddies.
Hell yes.
That's us.
I'm going to be watching too. We have 2 followers right now. I expect 4 followers by the time this episode comes out in 1 month.
I gotta start posting over there.
Yeah, get in there. It's in my tweet deck, but you can do whatever you want with it. 3.5 Debs for An American Family. Great experience.
Not bad.
This was a lot of fun. Any final words? Any last words?
If you can find the 12 episodes, write in. Let us know where.
Yeah. Please,
I would
please
love
do.
to check it out.
If you've got an internet truck and those 12 episodes happen to be on it, and that truck might be caught by some Italians, and that truck might be sent to us, we would love to talk to you about
however it happens. Do you
about
work for PBS?
whatever sequence of
Smuggle it out.
incidents. Yeah. I mean, things can happen, right? We're all taxpayers here.
happen.
Just
Good point.
skim a little goodness our way.
A little digitize it.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt anybody.
It only helps.
Yeah, that's it. What are we're just gonna say bye, buddies? We're just gonna say bye, buddies.
So keep it
Great.
real. Because it's reality, right? Oh, that was
real.
dumb. I hated
Keep
that.
it
That's
real.
This is the podcast where people start being buddies and start getting real.
I do see what you did there. Here.
Yeah. We're strangers. Anyway. Bye, buddies.
I know, but they have no. Bye, buddies.
Bye, buddy.
First is best, or first is worst.